Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. I am your host, Christine Innes, and I'm super excited to have this beautiful woman, Nina, join us today. So thank you so much for joining, lovely.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Honestly, we've chatted a couple of times before, but I just want to tell everyone that you are a conscious sales coach. I'm like getting lost tongue-tied there. But what I really love, and I normally do like a little intro, but I wanted to really jump in and talk to you because you've got such a really great sort of story. But when people talk about being a conscious sales coach, people go, oh, what is that? And it really sparks that sort of interest with it. But when we talked before, I just really love the heart and passion that you put into your business, but you do it in such a very authentic way. And I really want to talk about that too, because I know you've got this amazing book coming out as well. So do you want to tell everyone just a little bit about your story of how you've got to where you are, and then we can sort of dive in a little bit deeper?
Yeah, amazing. Let me know if I'm talking too much, because I know that sometimes I can go off on a complete different tangent. So to answer that question, 8 years ago now, I landed a job in real estate. And at the time I was studying exercise physiology at uni. So it's not something that I wanted to do. I wasn't passionate about. And so when I landed a job in real estate, it was the first time in my life where I had to choose between going and continuing what I was doing at uni, which was something that I wasn't passionate about, but was something that was in the known, I was comfortable, or venturing into the unknown, but having the potential for more. And so I found that through taking a leap of faith and through trusting myself and through getting the right mentorship, I was able to become very successful in real estate in a very short period of time. And that's also when I got into personal development. The key thing that I would say is the biggest is the biggest factor in my very early success in real estate, opening up my own, buying my own property at the age of 21, 22 in Sydney, being fourth in the company by my third quarter. I was about to open up an office with my boss when I left. But the biggest thing was really being myself. I was straight out of uni. I was like 2021 when I first got into real estate. I had braces. I'm obviously of an Asian heritage. I had all these limiting beliefs as to why no one would want to buy off me. I had a list from my braces. Like, no one's going to want to buy off me. I look like I'm 18. And so I was really able to embrace more of who I was and saw how me being myself was actually what allowed people to connect with me. And so when I was in real estate, I saw the amazing Brendan Burchard speak. And when I saw him, I was on my way to becoming financially successful. I thought I had my life in order. But then I was slapped across the face and I realized that I'm here for something so much greater. I'm here to become a coach, a speaker, and an author. And so literally over the last 8 years, I've been a coach in supporting women and stepping into their higher selves and coming from a very authentic place, because I believe that when we can truly get clear with who we are and how we can express our unique gifts, I believe the world would be a much happier and fulfilled place, because when we're happy, we make the people around us happy.
And I love that so much, because that's really, it's everything that I stand for. And it's, similar to, I don't do the sales side of things, but what I teach my clients is that you so need to know who you are. And I think, no matter what stage you are in life, we get clouded so much, and we have all of this sort of social expectations. We have family, we have society, like everything put on us, and we forget who we are.
Yes.
And what I teach, my clients is that if you want to start a business, you need to know who you are, because you're the brand, you're it. And I think it's like, I really actually want to give credit to you, because at such a young age, like it took me into my 40s to actually get it, like to just go, oh, you know what, Christine, like really, who are you? Like, so I really want to give you credit, because, to do that at a younger age it's amazing, because it means that you've got that self-awareness and haven't fallen into that hype and all of that. So I just want to say congratulations, because that is a huge thing to do. And I know that obviously when we have to make that choice of, do I go down the the safe pathway, or do I take that leap of faith? Like it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I need to mention as well that, you know, we're all on a constant journey. So I don't, if someone had told me a few years ago that I would be where I am now, I wouldn't have believed them. If someone told me that a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed them. So it's a constant evolution. And I don't want the people who are watching and listening to this to compare themselves. I want you to honor exactly where you are and realize that we maybe just be a few steps ahead of where you are in this part of the journey. But I'm sure that there are areas in your life where you're ahead of us. So it's just a constant evolution and a constant journey.
Yeah. And that's beautiful, because I think we do, especially with social media, like we can all flick through and we can go, oh my God, like look at all of this. And, you know, I want that. And, you know, all of that sort of stuff. But we have to remember, how many photos has it actually taken for that one perfect shot? Like it takes a lot. And I'm guilty of that too. I'll sit there going, oh, you know what filter, you know, what angle, like all that sort of stuff. And then it's just sort of like, oh no, hang on a second, because you just show up and be you. Like, you know, it's okay. But, you know, I think sometimes it is easy for us to sit there and we go into this, you know, compare and judge and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But, you know, what you said is so valuable, is that, you know, where people are right now is exactly where you need to be. And we need to take stock of that, because it's for me, it's the biggest lesson that you can actually learn in life.
Yes. And don't try to be like anyone else. Just be more you. Like what you guys can see in us that inspires you is only in you. So find that part of you. Find that part of you that can shine brighter than anything else, because you have your own unique light, which is different to ours.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a huge fan of Marie Forleo, like absolutely, like just adore her. And, you know, somebody said to me, oh, you know, you want to be like Marie Forleo? I said, no, I don't. I said, I love what she does. I said, but I don't want to be like her, because I'm me. And, you know, I'm not going to be that. And I think that sort of took people aback, because we're so used to going, oh, I want to be like this person, or I want to be that, you know, celebrity and all of that. And it's sort of like, well, you're actually like so unique and beautiful exactly where you are. Why would you want to change and be like somebody else?
Exactly. I think a great metaphor as well, or a great example, is imagine Oprah. You can't imagine Oprah saying she wants to be like anyone else. You can't imagine Russell Brand saying he wants to be like anyone else. You can't imagine, you know, Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson saying that they want to be like anyone else. They're comparing themselves to their highest version, not to anybody else.
Yeah, it's so true, so true. And that just brings me up, because I know you've got this beautiful book coming out. It's called The Naked You, A Guide to Living Authentically in Life and Business. And like it really speaks to me, because, you know, finding who I was authentically was one of the biggest changes, obviously, in my personal life, but it also allowed me to build my business, because it was based on my values, it was based on my beliefs. And also what I've learned to be able to really show up as myself. So what sort of led you down that pathway, and what was sort of like, was there a defining moment that just sort of said, you know what, I need to get this out there to actually show other people?
Yeah, it's really funny, because I've been writing for as long as I could remember, but in school, teachers have always said to me, you're not a good writer. Like there's all this conditioning that is, you know, that we've been put on us. And it was actually when I saw Brendan Burchard that I realized, it was literally like a pin drop moment, where I thought to myself, everything I have experienced was for a reason. And I can support people and help people through their journey by sharing my journey. And it was then that I realized that my writing is a gift, and it's something that needs to be shared, because it's something that's been so personal to me that sometimes we want to keep things to ourselves. We want to keep things, you know, just within arm's distance, and we don't want to open our heart up and share, because it feels scary and it feels vulnerable. But it was through me stepping into my vulnerability and me seeing the financial reward of me being myself in a corporate setting that I was able to realize that the more I actually open up, the more vulnerable I can be, the more myself I can be. Not only do I feel great about myself, but I'm also rewarded by people, places, circumstances, abundance in whatever form that is. And it was really seeing other people shine their light that made me realize. And it's been a journey of me accepting different parts of myself. Like, it's not just one thing that I accepted about myself. It's constantly leaning in. Like I said to my partner last night, I didn't used to think I was beautiful. I used to not like how I looked without makeup on. I used to not think that I was an attractive woman or an attractive girl. Like, it's been a constant evolution. But as I've continued to lean in, and as I've continued to allow myself to feel the pain and the vulnerability of whatever it is I have gone through and what I currently am going through, the more I realize that it's necessary to get that message out there.
Yeah. And it is so true, because I think, especially as women, we're so vulnerable,
Mm,
to outside influences. And it could just be one comment that's made to us. So much is, our from 0 to 7, if anyone doesn't know, is our formative years. So anything that happened or was said, that's where we form our beliefs and,
yes.
all of those sort of ideals that, we come into life. And it's really going back and sort of, unpacking all of that sort of stuff and letting go.
Mm,
But for me, it was also like, it was later in life. It was, my late 30s. I'm now at 43. And, like, it's going into that and just sort of realizing that, who I am is actually me. And
yeah.
for me to shine and for me to step in my own power, I need to accept and love all of me, flaws and all.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I always say we're perfectly imperfect,
Yes.
and perfection does not exist. I actually removed the word from my vocabulary because it is unattainable. And I think
Yeah.
so many times that, we strive for this sort of level of perfection. That's not
Mm,
going to happen. We need to actually
yes.
accept and to love where we're at and allow that constant growth
Exactly.
then to come through.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's one of my mentors that said, perfectionism is the death of progress.
Mm,
You don't want to progress, then stay trying to be perfect.
mm, yeah, absolutely. How did you sort of come to the realization that being you, and I know you talked a
Mm,
little bit about your sales, especially being in real estate, and that, people were buying from you, but was there like a particular moment that you got to and going, well, people are actually coming to me, people are actually
mm.
liking me because I call it marshmallow. There's no fluff. There's no, that sugar sweet sort of stuff, going on. Like, there's no
Yeah.
marshmallow sort of stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
was there a moment that you sort of realized, or was it sort of like a slow progress that people were coming
Mm.
to you because it was you?
I think it's a bit of both. I feel like the people who are here to lead innately know that in their heart.
Mm,
There's always been a desire in me to want to make a difference.
mm,
And I am a natural leader. As much as I haven't wanted to accept that in different times of my life, and as much as I've tried to run away from being a leader, I realize that I just naturally am. If someone's not stepping up,
yeah.
I step up. And what I realized is a lot of it is very energetic. If we feel insecure about something going on with us, we project that into the world. It's not even about other people. When we look at someone and we're empowered by them and they inspire us, it's because they embody something which we desire.
Mm,
And so, as I've gone internal and as I've learned to accept and love more parts of myself and accept my past and see them as gifts, the more I realize that those are the elements that allow people to connect with me.
mm,
And if I'm not allowing myself to love those parts of myself, if I'm not allowing myself to be open, then how is anyone ever going to connect with me? And
yeah.
so I feel like it's been a progression of removing different layers. And that's why my book's called The Naked You, because I feel like it's just about stripping back all of these layers that aren't us. And I feel like my life has just been a journey of stripping off another layer and another layer and opening up myself even more, even more. And as I do that, I realize more and more people are inspired by the work that I'm doing, but more so who I'm embodying, because they can feel the energy that I'm coming from, which I first had to learn for myself before I can start teaching it to others.
Mm, yeah. And I think that's really what makes people, like from you and I, more relatable, is that we've done the work. We're not coming from typical textbook. We're coming from that we've either been in a particular situation and we've done the growth and we've done the work to be able to get us out to the other side so that we can relate to that. But we also know that it's hard. Like when we sit here and we talk about doing the inner work and we, you know, do all that, I just want to let people know it ain't easy because it uncovers so much stuff and you think, oh my God, I've dealt with that. Like, do I have to go there again? Because I've only just scratched the surface and you have to dive deeper. So hats off to you because I know like the work that I've done and, you know, I'm a very big believer in the energy. And also when you're really connected to yourself, it allows other people to see you and, like you said, like the true you. And it doesn't matter whether you've got makeup on, it doesn't matter whether or not you are wearing the fancy labels or anything like that, because they see you. And we have to remember it's not about that. It is also about the person and what you're speaking about. And we need to get back to, you know, really that sort of core messaging as well.
I love that. I feel like a big part of what is something that I think that your audience can take away from this is, where is the part of you that you feel like you love the least, and work on that.
Yes.
Because that's the biggest room for improvement. So I know that we briefly spoke about this before, but a big part of my journey was being sexually abused when I was younger. So that was my biggest vulnerability. So once I realized that was part of my story, and once I realized that I was going to publish that in my book, once I went live about it on my Facebook group, it's not something that I really hide from anymore. It's something that I have embraced as painful as that was, and as much as I would never wish that upon anyone, I am grateful for it because I am who I am now because of it. And I have the mission that I have now because of what I experienced. But I've learned to not be insecure about that. I've learned to embrace that. And when we have those things about us that we feel bad about, or we feel guilty about, or we have shame about, we unconsciously think that people can't love us. So what is that part of you that you feel like someone can't love, and start to work on you loving that part of yourself. And I think that's the best, most effective way for us to really start. For those people who are like, what do they mean by the inner work and what can I do? That's somewhere where you guys can start.
Absolutely. And honestly, more credit to you, because it is the thing that I love teaching the most is that owning your story. And when you own your story, you take back the power. You actually come back in control, and you're no longer giving power to the other person or the event or whatever occurred. And, you know, I know what you're talking about. And I mean, I know this is like on opposite scales, but when I went through bankruptcy, I was so ashamed of that. And I was so going, oh my God, I can't tell anyone that, you know, I went through this and all of that. But then it's sort of like, no, Christine, like that was a moment in your life, and it was based on a particular circumstance. And it's not the person, I'm not allowing that to define who I was, because it happened. I got sick, you know, I wasn't able to work, like, and, you know, going through a toxic marriage, like all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't define me of who I am. But I am so grateful it happened, because it's made me the person who I am today. And I freaking love who I am. Like, honestly.
I love that.
Yeah. Like it's, you know, I would never have said that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I would never even be on camera 5 years ago. You know, so look, honestly, the inner work does work. So if anyone can take that away, like, look at both of us as like great examples of where it can really change your life and catapult it to, you know, a totally different level. So I honestly, I'm in awe of you. I really absolutely love all the work that you do. So thank you so much. As we sort of like wrap up, what would you say is the biggest piece of advice that you've received that has helped you?
What's coming to mind right now, there's so many different times of my life where someone has said something and it's been so poignant and has really supported me. But what I'm feeling right now is, I think the single biggest thing that I've had to constantly remind myself is that everything is already within me, and that I am stronger than I think. I've actually got a tattoo. It's in Braille, and it
Oh,
says strength.
love it.
And it's my business colors because they're my favorite colors, because our business is an extension of us.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm going through something really hard, I just remember that everything else I've gone through, I've gotten through, and it may not feel like I can move through this, but I can. And just remembering that sometimes we don't realize how strong we are until we're going through it and until we've been through it. And that's why we experience what we experience, because we need to experientially realize it by going through it. And so when we're faced with a challenge or an obstacle, I want you guys to see that as an opportunity for you to see just how strong you are. Like, how many times have we said in our life, I realized how strong I was going through that? It's not until we go through it that we realize how strong we are.
That is so, honestly, that just like got me so much. I'm like trying not to cry because like I get it so much. And I honestly think that is, you know, it's so true, especially right now, like with all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, is that, you know, we have so much inner strength. We just don't know until we're tested. Go through it with it. So look, I want to let everyone know that I'm going to drop all the links below, that they'll be able to reach out and get in contact with you and to book in a free call with you. Nina is an incredible sales coach, and she does it with so much love and passion as well. So, you know, if you're looking to grow your business and you're needing help and support, please make sure you reach out to her. As I said, I've got her Facebook page and also how you can book in a free chat with her as well below. So thank you so much, lovely, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure. I absolutely love connecting with women who are just owning their own power, because for so long I used to compare myself, and sometimes, you know, I still do get caught in comparing myself. But the more I journey in this work, and like you said, you realize that the women who are at a level where they are stepping into their truth, it's taken a level of going deep. And I honor the work that you've done, and I honor the work that you're doing. And I just want to say that you are such an inspiration to all the people who you are connecting with, and it's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, lovely. Like, honestly, I'm going to go because otherwise I'm going to cry and people are going to see ugly crying so badly. So, but no, look, thank you so, so much. And, you know, like I do honestly mean, like, I bring people on the show that I truly can connect with. And, you know, I do believe in, you know, what they're doing in their business. So thank you so much. As I said to everyone, I'm going to drop all the links below that you can reach out and get in touch with Nina. I want to thank everyone for joining me for this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. Make sure that you live life with passion and, you know, to the fullest every single day, and just to remember to honor and love yourself. So love and light to you all.